A few months ago, I was on a flight from Chicago to Los Angeles. It was a last-minute booking, and by some stroke of luck, or overselling in economy, I got bumped up to first class. I'm not the flashy type. Hoodie, worn-out sneakers, and jeans are kind of my uniform, but I wasn't going to say no to a comfortable seat and some legroom. I boarded late, so most people were already seated. As I walked down the aisle, I heard a laugh, sharp, familiar, and unmistakably hers. Then came the voice. "Well, if it isn't the dropout guy." I froze for a second before turning. There she was. Claire, my ex-wife. Polished, elegant, in a fitted cream blazer, holding a glass of champagne like she was posing for a lifestyle. Magazine cover. Her makeup was perfect. Her hair professionally styled. Next to her sat a man who looked like he was born inside a Fortune 500 boardroom. Sleek suit, silver watch, smug expression. She smirked. "What are the odds?" I gave her a polite nod, trying to keep things civil. "Hey, Claire." She didn't stop there. "This is Daniel," she said to me, gesturing to the man beside her. "My husband. He works in private equity, and Daniel, this is my ex-husband. He dropped out of college to start a tech company, and now he's flying coach. Or, well, I guess they finally let him sit with the grown-ups today." She laughed again, lightly. Daniel smiled without saying much, just nodded at me, probably already classifying me as someone irrelevant. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. It had been nearly 7 years since Claire and I split, and I'd spent a long time learning how not to let her voice crawl under my skin. Back when we were together, I was just starting my first startup. It was a mess. No funding, no stability, and no guarantee it would ever amount to anything. She always told me I was chasing ghosts, and eventually she left. She wanted security, money, a life she could show off. I wasn't that guy, at least not then. I found my seat across the aisle from them, close enough to hear every word, unfortunately. She made a few more passive-aggressive comments under her breath, loud enough for me to hear, but not loud enough for a stranger to call her out. Something about "some people never grow up," or "entrepreneur is code for unemployed." I just kept my face neutral. About an hour into the flight, I connected to the in-flight Wi-Fi to check emails. That's when it happened. The embargo lifted on an article Forbes had written about me. Meet the college dropout who just sold his second startup for $80 million. My name was in the headline. The piece had gone live early, and I watched in real time as my phone blew up. Emails, Slack messages, Twitter notifications, LinkedIn requests. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Claire glance at my screen. Then glance again. She shifted in her seat, leaned slightly to peek at the screen a third time. The smile on her face slowly faded. She stopped talking. For the first time since the flight began, she looked unsure. I didn't say a word. I just kept scrolling through congratulatory texts, one from the CTO of a company that once rejected me for a job, another from a venture capitalist who used to ignore my cold emails. Daniel, catching on to the shift in her body language, leaned over and said something I couldn't hear. She responded quietly. The confident tone from earlier had completely vanished. After we landed, we all stood up at the same time to collect our bags. Claire turned toward me, her voice softer now. "So, you really sold it? Another company?" I nodded. "Yeah, wrapped it up last month." She looked like she was about to say something else, maybe an apology or maybe a compliment disguised as a dig. But she stopped herself. Daniel extended his hand and smiled. "Congratulations, man. That's impressive. We should grab coffee sometime. I've got a few investments in tech myself." I shook his hand, calm and firm. "Sure, if I've got time." And then I walked out. Outside the terminal, my driver was waiting, holding a sign with my name. It wasn't about showing off. It's just how I travel now because I can afford to. I saw Claire and Daniel spot the sign as I approached. Claire's eyes widened slightly. I didn't look back after that. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving her wrong. But that moment felt damn good.